Good morning, it's Rob,
Charlotte, and Snowflake
from Dowdle Family Farms, and it's been a crazy morning so far, and we've got even more going on. When I woke up this morning, I found this note on the coffee maker, and I was glad that Charlotte wanted to come to the farm. This day, Saturday, April 6th, was a 14-hour day for Charlotte and me, and I had no idea how hectic the next couple days would be. As we would move cows, we prepared to plant our warm season cover crops and tried to do a couple different trials and tests. I'd hoped to plant about 2 acres of the cover crops before the rain came that was forecasted for Monday, but so much more happened. I didn't get it all on video, but I'll show you what I've got. So when we first arrived to the farm, we were expecting several loads of wood chips from Cotton Top Tree Service, and eventually they ended up bringing 5 throughout the day Saturday. They were cutting 40 trees from a friend who lives close to the farm, so we dropped by their house to see how that tree work was going. Charlotte got some hot chocolate, and we spent a bit more time watching them work than I had anticipated. It's incredibly fascinating. When we did get to the farm, the first thing we did was check the fences, and we went to go move the brood cows to a different part of the farm. You see, our farm is spread out over several different parcels of land, and so we've got to move cows across the road and some of that kind of stuff. Earlier in the week, Bubba, my dad, and I moved the cows down the road and across the road to this small paddock. Then this morning, Charlotte and I moved them through the woods over a quarter of a mile to the pastures on what we call the 16th section land. Then we went over to check on the little pigs that are being weaned and trained to the electric fence. We noticed that they were out of water, so we had to go get a water tank and start filling it. And that's where we recorded that first introduction. While the water was filling the tank, I had about 15 to 20 minutes, so I evaluated this field to see when it would be ready to graze. Put the water in there for the pigs, and then begin getting ready to plant with the new no-till drill. The first thing I did is I went and I got the disc on the tractor, because we're trying some cover crops in a new part of the farm, and it's poor soil. There's a lot of weedy growth, and I'm not sure how well the cover crops will perform if we just interseed them with this drill without actually breaking up the sod and disking the soil. So I disked about half an acre of it. After I got that test pot planted, I went over there to get the truck. Spring has sprung, and Ferdinand is doing his job with several of the ladies. So I had to stop and make a note of this, because in 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, we should expect a lot more bacon bits. So when we came time to start mixing the seed, I mixed in about 100 pounds of sorghum sudangrass, 100 pounds of cowpeas, 50 pounds of buckwheat, 25 pounds of sunflowers, 10 pounds of dwarf essex rape, 40 pounds of a new crop joint vetch, some leftover red clover seed from the fall, and some chicory and a couple others. This forage crop is designed for cows and soil regeneration. There are a couple reasons that I think this crop may not perform well, and that I'm careful about how I'm seeding it. First, seeding with this seeder in these soil conditions doesn't cover the seed very well. If the soil is soft, or if we have good soil structure, it does well, but it's wet and it's clay and it's never been grown here before. And so the seeds are often just sitting in the furrows that the drill makes. So far, the other crops have sprouted fine, but it is a risk. We'll just have to see what happens. Second, I'm seeding in poor soil with weedy forages, and I'm not sure how much of this will work very well. Now, we mixed the seed up, and Charlotte played in it while I was dumping the bags of seed.
This is a day I'm never gonna forget, Mama.
A good drill with an auger helps mix up some of the seed, and of course using a shovel to scrape away from the sides helps a lot. So I calibrated the seed drill and planted it at about 58 pounds to the acre. But halfway through the planting, I tried increasing it to about 75 pounds to the acre to see if that would help with some of the competition with the pasture weeds. A few weeks ago, I'd planted a spring pea oat mix from green cover seed in these same soil conditions with this same no-till drill. I decided planting it directly into that mix because it had started to germinate. When traveling over there, though, I got the tractor stuck. That took a while to get out. I couldn't back up for fear of damaging the drill. Fortunately, someone helped pull me out, and I planted half an acre in there and then stopped. It was too late, but I still had a couple acres worth of seed to plant, so I decided to try to plant it Sunday evening. As we started to go home, I realized that I'd never turned the water on for our breeder pigs. So that left Charlotte and me at the farm for another hour in the dark watching the sunset. This was almost a 14-hour day. It was long. Sunday was a busy day at work, and I didn't get to the farm until 6 o'clock that evening. I fed and watered all the animals, then planted until I ran out of seed and got home about 10 o'clock. But in that process, I realized that because the spring peas and oats that I'd planted in wet weather had germinated, maybe this warm season cover crop would as well. The rain that we were supposed to get Monday morning was pushed back to Monday evening, so I got more seed and planting a slightly different mix. Some of it had been planted with the peas and the oats from green cover seed. Some of it had just been grazed. But this mix was 50 pounds of sorghum sudangrass, 100 pounds of buckwheat, 15 pounds of rape, 40 pounds of a forage soybean, 25 pounds of sunflower, 50 pounds of cowpeas, some more red clover, some more Durana clover, and less than a pound of chicory. Because I plan on grazing it with pigs, I planted it heavier with the buckwheat, the rape, the soybeans, and the cowpeas, and less sorghum sudangrass. It was sprinkling on and off the whole time. While planting in the field that had the peas and the oats, in fact, you can see how the peas and the oats had germinated in these pictures here. I managed to tear up the fence while I was planting it. Fortunately, Bubba was there to help.
That's why we can't have nice things out here.
I did notice that when I'm in the pig paddocks, if I put the bucket down with the lip of the bucket up while driving forward, the bottom of the bucket smooths out a lot of those rough places while planting. It's not perfect, but it's much better than it is otherwise. In this last paddock that I had the pigs in, there were a lot of rough places where the pigs had rooted up a lot of the chicory. If you're out planting close to pigs, though, just be careful not to knock down that temporary fence. If you do, you'll spend a lot of time catching them, like I did. It's really not that big of a deal, but I don't want the pigs eating my seed. They, of course, just had a larger paddock that they would roam around in. So I had to go back and feed them, let them back into their originating paddock, and then it was a quick matter of putting the fence back up. All in all, I finished planting this paddock, then put up the gates and powered the fence back on. It was an incredibly long, hectic weekend, and I did not plan on planting nearly this much. In fact, I'd planned on just planting a couple trial acres to see how the forages grew in those areas. But when I'd seen how the earlier stuff that I planted had grown, I decided to expand the areas that I was planting and go on and plant over some of the cool season crops that were about 2 or 3 inches tall. I think I'll get some pretty good value out of it. We'll see how it goes. The thing that amazes me the most is this weekend I planted over 10 acres of cover crops. It took me less than 8 hours of tractor time, and that includes going back and forth, filling up the hopper over and over again. Realistically, I probably could have done it in 6 hours if I had done this in just one full day. But on the farm, there are always a lot of things to do, whether it's going to get kids out of school or dealing with work. If you found some value out of this video, you could do me a huge favor if you'd share it with somebody you think that might enjoy it. Give it a like. And if you're interested in supporting the work that we're doing here, you can always purchase our products, or you can join our channel membership. It's $4.99 a month, and it's just a way of saying thank you for doing the work that you do, producing the videos. Until next time, take care and have a great day.